When you want to put a different tire size on your car, sometimes it is possible if it's not too different than original. So you have this website, I'll explain it in a moment. Usually I will just go on Google and type tire size comparison, so it gets you this site. And here we have this table and we can compare two different sizes of tires. And I'll point you that this is in inches and this is in millimeters. I think it goes this way, inches. And also on the right side you have the pictures of the two tires with dimensions, and you have the change in the odometer speed. Basically it tells you that if you put a larger tire, a larger diameter, your odometer will be this one, will read slightly less than the actual true speed. So let's see in a moment. So let's just maybe compare two tires, 215. So you have these three numbers for each tire, and maybe you just find a better deal. You want to purchase something that says 225 instead of 215. So you'll have few differences here. It's really just a wild guess, not for every car, but my suggestion is if you are getting something different, try the overall diameter. So what you see here, it's really the diameter, not the radius. It's the overall number for the tire in millimeters. Try to get something not more larger than, I would say, 20 millimeters or about 1 inch. You maybe can put a bigger tire, slightly bigger, but what's important is that when you actually turn your steering to full lock, and this is a very easy test, just turn your steering wheel to full lock either way, and just see in front of the tire what's the distance, the gap remaining between the tire and the well liner. Just put your fingers in there, and that's the gap that you have. And same at the rear of the tire, sometimes also above the tire, at the fender, top of the fender, mostly in front and rear, a full turn. And notice that when you change the numbers here, it's not always, so see, this is supposed to be the width of the tire, but it's also going to change the overall diameter, the first number. So put all the numbers here, just crunch them and see what's the difference here. So you have the width change and the overall diameter, and both will influence the remaining gap. So be aware of this, because if you choose a wider tire when you are a full lock, that gap is going to be slightly less than if you had the same width. So this is just it's up to you. Just look at the numbers, look at the dimensions that you have in there. I may point out that you can also, maybe you want to choose a completely different well. So if you want to mount the tires on the same wells, you need to have the same size of tire, overall size. But if you can choose different wells, smaller wells for instance, then you can compare two different wells, and sometimes it can also fit. It's the same idea, it's just that this time the wells will be completely different, and you need also to check for well offset as well, but that's a completely different point. So you can also compare two tires for two completely different wells. I wanted to point you on this website also. They have other tools here, and also if you click here, more tile tools, it's going to bring you to the well offset calculator. And my overall, I would say, is just another time, once again, it's really is not going to apply to all cars, but is really for mostly modern cars. My way to look at the offset of a well is you have offset number. Let's say you compare, you have on your car 50 offset 50. Usually if you choose a smaller inferior than 50 offset, the well will stand slightly more towards the outside of the car, and there is a good chance the well will fit, unless it's a really big difference in offset. So always try to look for a smaller number of offset, especially in modern cars, but don't go too much away from your standard offset. If the offset is bigger than your original number, there is a very good chance that the well will hit on the front caliper, the brakes that are in front of your cars. must fit behind the wheel, and if the number of the offset is slightly larger than the original one on your car, say you have 50 and you find a used set of wheel of 55 or 56 offset, there is a good chance that wheel will not fit, will not clear, will hit on the brakes of your car. So be aware, this is just, I'm giving you a bonus. Usually that's how it works, but there are exceptions for the offset part. Okay, so give this site a look, and it's TireSites.com comparison, and I think it's very, very useful for you. I will just add that, see, if we compare, usually I suggest just change one of the numbers. So change maybe this one number by a tenth or something like this. So from 2015 to 2025, or maybe from I don't know, 200, sorry, from 205 to 215, this should be okay. Now if you also can play with these numbers, but again only by an amount of 5 this time. So from 55 to maybe from 60, it should be okay. From 65 to 60, or from 60 to 65, it should be okay. But try to change only either this guy by 5, either this guy by 10, but not both of them. And I will just point out that if you look at this tire here, it has a 55. This is like the tallness of the wall of the tire. A 65 versus a 60 will mean the tire is slightly taller here than here. This is being the 65 one. It will give you a slightly better, softer ride, because these days we have very low profile tires. You can slightly increase the profile of the tire, will improve the ride quality on poor road surface. So if you want to look for a tire with a slightly taller profile, it will help you, but not much more than 5.